everyone, I'm Crafty Kate and I run a small crochet business. On this channel we talk all things yarn and crochet. Welcome to my first designer spotlight video where I'm going to make just patterns from one designer. I got on Etsy the other day and needed some inspiration and I found a bunch of patterns that I wanted to get, so I bought a ton of patterns from 3 different designers. So I have 3 different videos like this planned. This first one is going to be with patterns from BKay Crochet, and I have never made a pattern from her before, so I'm excited to try those out. Before we jump into that though, I did want to go over a couple of updates. So I have a PalmStreet live on Friday this week at 12 p.m. Should be the day after this video comes out, so if you want to go bookmark that and come hang out with me during that live, I will have some new plushies over there and we'll just kind of crochet and hang out. It should be fun, so I'd love to see you over there. And then the other exciting news is that I have made a new tier on my Patreon, and I will have everything linked down below. So this new tier is for some challenges, crochet alongs. I'm going to be sharing some free pattern reviews. I'm not going to write the free patterns, but I'm going to make the patterns and then review them for you specifically for Patreon. I'm going to do that twice a month. I'm going to call it Free Pattern Fridays. And the way the challenges are going to work is at the beginning of the month, I will announce a theme for a challenge, and then you will have all month to complete a plushie or a make for that challenge. It won't always be plushies, but you'll have all month to complete it, and then we'll have a group chat where we can share our makes and talk about everything, and it should be a great place to get some inspiration, see some patterns you've never seen before, use some fun colors, all kinds of stuff like that. And then at the end of the month, I will go through all of the photos of the finished projects, and I will choose 5 randomly to share at the end of my next YouTube video, which should be the beginning of the next month. So I thought that would be a fun way to kind of share people's work and get us all involved together making things and having fun. And then the crochet along will also be once a month, and the way I want to do that, obviously this is all kind of an experiment to see how this works. I've never seen anybody do anything like this, so it's definitely an experiment. But the crochet along, I will have a group chat separate for that, and what I want is for everyone to suggest a pattern that they would like for all of us to make together, if that makes sense. So it can be a pattern in your stash that you've been scared to try and you'd like some support and have all of us make it together, or it can be a pattern that you don't have yet that you'd like to try, sort of an excuse to buy a new pattern, something like that. So I want it to be where you guys pick the pattern that we make, and then we'll all get the pattern and make it together and share our thoughts and tips and tricks and stuff like that, if that makes sense. I hope it sounds fun. So definitely go check out my Patreon if you'd like to do some challenges, crochet alongs, see some extra free pattern reviews, stuff like that. I'm really excited about it, but it will only work if we have a bunch of people in there that are all ready to be involved and to do it together. So I'm super excited. So go check it out. Let me know what you think, and we'll just see where that goes. Okay, so now we'll jump into the patterns from BKay Crochet that I'm going to make for this video. I only bought 3. She has tons and tons. I would have loved to buy all of them. They're so cute, and they're all like in the same kind of style that I really like. So excited to try that. So the 3 that I got are, let me read them off. So the 3 that I got are all the Itty style, so they're like her smaller ones. So I got Itty Gentry the Giraffe, and it comes with a snuggler version and a plushie version. And then I got Itty Frankie the Fawn and Itty Palin the Pony. So each one has the plushie and the snuggler version, so I'm going to have to decide which one I want to make. I think for the giraffe I'd like to do the snuggler, but the other 2 I haven't decided yet. I would like to try one of them in the plushie style body just because she has some other cute accessories like a diaper and a little binky that would work for the plushie body. So I might try one in that. And then as you can see over here, I have all the colors picked for what I want to make. So I'll take you over there and go over the colors, and then we will get started. Okay, so here are all the colors I have pulled for this project. I am still trying to use up a bunch of my Premier Basics chenille, so it is all Premier Basics. Some of it is the Mama Made Minis line, and some of it is just their regular brights. So here, these first 3 is what I want to use for Palin the Pony, so that will be a horse. And then for the little fawn, it will be the cream, the cedar color, and then the pepper from Mama Made Minis. And then the giraffe will be yellow with the darker peach for the spots and the feet. And then this will be, this is shell, I believe. This will be the little nose because it's supposed to be a lighter color. So that is what I have picked out. I think they're all going to be super cute, soft, and adorable. So I'm going to figure out which one we're going to start with, and then I'll check in with you. Okay, I think I've decided that I'd like to start with the giraffe, and I was just reading through the pattern. She does want you to use 2 different size hooks. Again, I do not have a 7mm hook still. I need to order one, but I am going to use the 6mm and the 6.5 like I did for the goose recently. So those will be my 2 hooks. And then these are my colors, like I said. So yellow giraffe with the darker peach for the spots, and then the shell for the nose, I think will be cute. And then she also has some fun like top knot headband accessory type things, so we might want to make one of those. We'll see if I have colors that will look good with this. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get started on this little guy. I'm super excited, so I'll just keep you posted as I go. Okay, I got a little bit carried away and forgot to check in and update, so I have a little bit done here. I have the 2 little arms. Love these colors together. I have actually made a giraffe this color before. And then I have the legs put together and the spots. It is a lot of color changes. We have a lot going on here, but it is looking really cute so far. So I'm just going to keep plugging away here, and I'll show you when I have some more done. Okay, I have a little update, something I just changed in the pattern. So using this big hook and having half double crochet decreases is making stuff a little bit gappy. And she tells you in the pattern to use invisible decreases with the half double crochets. But I find that if you're getting gappy stitches, you can use a regular decrease where you have that extra piece of yarn in there. So here on the side, I did some decreases with regular decreases for the half double crochet, and you can see it's a lot less gappy than it is down here. This is a snuggler, so it doesn't matter that it's a little bit gappy. I just think it looks better when it's more uniform. And I also would, the next time I make this, possibly on the next one, I might use the smaller hook through the whole thing, just because I don't like the gappiness. But so that's how I fix that. If I end up with gaps in my half double crochet, I just do the regular decreases so that there's a little bit more yarn in those stitches. So I'm going to sew up the holes in the bottom where I connected my legs, and then we'll just keep going. I have the little body done, and I am loving it. So cute. Couple spots on the back. Long little neck. I did end up taking out the little bit of stuffing that I had down in the bottom of the feet just because of these little gaps. I didn't want the stuffing coming out. It's a snuggler, and the arms aren't stuffed anyway, so I don't think it really makes a big difference. The way you crochet them, they kind of keep their shape. So I took the stuffing out, and like I said, I used regular decreases for the rest of the body. And I think on the next one, I'll use the smaller hook so I don't have any gaps, but I think it looks fine as a snuggler. So now we just have the head, and this is a no-sew pattern, so I'm interested to see how we attach the head. But yeah, I'm loving it so far. He's a chunky little guy. Okay, we're losing the light a little bit, but I wanted to do one more update before I finish this guy. So I have the head attached, all the ears and the little horns attached, and she wants you to finish up the head and stuff it and close it up and everything, and then tack everything up. But I like to tack before I close the head so I can tie the knots on the inside with the tails and make them really tight. So I did the next row after adding the ears and the little horns, and then I'm going to use all my tails to tack everything back and tie knots before I close up the head. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to embroider eyes on this little guy, so I might do that right now as well, so I don't have to deal with the stuffing coming out when I have it all stuffed. So I'm going to work on his head and face and see how that all works out, and then I will let you know. Hello, it is the next day. I was able to finish the little giraffe last night, so I have that to show you. Too cute. So like I said, I ended up embroidering the eyes. I did all the tacking of the ears and the horns before I closed up the head. They turned out perfect. This is a completely no-sew pattern. You do attach the head in the round. You crochet the neck into the head, and then she has you leave a tail out, and then makes it optional to kind of whip stitch around to stabilize the neck, which I did end up doing. So you might consider that basically sewing. The head is already attached. You're just going around it to make it stronger. So a little bit easier than regular sewing because you don't have to line it up and hold it in place. It's already attached. And then the little tail gets surface crocheted on at the end. Look at those hips. And then she does have some face shaping, which I've mentioned before I struggle with when I do embroidered eyes. The shaping she wanted you to do was over the top of the plastic eyes, which I struggle with the embroidered eyes because it kind of makes it sink in and pinches the little eyelashes. So what I did was I ran the yarn from just below the eye to where the eyelash or eyebrow goes in, so that's where it's pinched right there on both sides, and that worked pretty well to not mess up my eyes, and it looks pretty cute. Sunk it in just a little bit. So yeah, love this pattern. Like I said, the next one I do, if I do a snuggler, I will just use my regular 6mm hook for the whole thing. I didn't really find it necessary to use the bigger hook, so yeah, there's that little guy. So the next one I want to make is the fawn. So I have the colors picked out. I showed you earlier. Just the winter white, the cedar from the Mama Made Minis line, and then the pepper from the Mama Made Minis line. So I think that will be, almost hit myself in the face. I think that will be really cute. I'm excited. I have not decided if I want to do the snuggler version or the plushy version yet. I'm going to look at the pattern and see what I think. I love snugglers, and I do want to try another one just so I can try the smaller hook to see how it turns out. But I do, like I said, also want to make the plushy version of one of them to try out her little diaper and the little binky sort of set. So I'm leaning towards doing the plushy version for the deer, but let me look at the pattern and then I'll check in with you. Okay, I think I have decided I'm going to do the plushy version of both the horse and the fawn, just because I like the way they sit and the body shape and everything. So that is the plan. So I'm going to get going on this little fawn. Looks like you make the arms, the ears, and the tail first, so I'm going to do that. I think I am going to modify the tail to make it more like the ears so the white doesn't show through on both sides. The way she does the tail is just one piece, if that makes sense. So the white in the middle shows on both sides. So when it's on the back, it looks like it's upside down. So I might make it with two pieces to cover up the white on the top. So I'll let you know how I do that and how it looks at the end. But other than that, the pattern looks awesome and I'm excited to get going. So here we go. Okay, I just made the tail and I did modify it like I said, and I love the way it turned out. So there's no white on the top, and then it has a little white on the bottom because white-tailed deer have like the little puff of white on their tail when they flip it up. So I love the way that turned out, and all I did was make it just like her ears, but following the size of the tail pattern. So I made the little center white part the same size as she said, and then just made a second one in the brown, and then put them together and followed the stitch count for her round of the brown, if that makes sense. So all I did was add the second little circle of brown to add to it. So same stitch count, same size, everything, just that one extra layer to make the top brown. It looks like a little star. It's really cute. So now I'm going to make the ears and then the arms, and then we will be on our way. But I just love how cute that is. Okay, I have all the little pieces done, and I made the little arms using my 6mm hook instead of the 6.5, and they definitely look much better, less gappy. So I think I made the right choice using the same hook for the whole thing so far. So we have the two little arms, we have the tail like I showed you, and then we have the two little ears. So I'll show you the tail is much smaller Then the ears, so cute. So now we are going to start on the legs and the body. I believe it's a no-sew pattern, so the legs will go up into the body and then build from there. So here we go. Okay, I just finished the 2 back legs, and I just wanted to give a quick little update. So the one has spots and the other one does not. You stuff these ones, you don't stuff the arms. And I don't typically like stuffing half double crochets just because it is gappy. But these had a section where you did a bunch of decreases in a row, and I did the invisible decreases like she says in the instruction pages or whatever, and they were crazy gappy, so I ended up frogging and going back and doing regular decreases, regular half double crochet decreases like I did with the, or like I wish I had done with the giraffe. So these gaps down here, I was getting the same thing even with my smaller hook with these, just because there's so many decreases in a row. So the smaller hook did not help that too much. So I did the regular decreases and they look fine. I was able to stuff them lightly like she said. So just a tip if you're having trouble with your half double crochets, I definitely had to do that again. But now we're going to work on the body, and I'll probably just hyperlapse that, get this guy done, and then we'll work on the head. I just finished the little body and it is looking so cute. So she has an option in the pattern to tack the legs. You either tack them so that it's in a standing position or you tack them in a sitting position. I did the sitting position. Here's my little white tail under there. I love the way she does the little spots. They're just like little puff stitches, but they turn out so cute. It's a lot of color changes. I did cut and tie each one so that I wasn't pulling on any of the body, but they look really cute. Love it so far. So we just have the head, and again, it's a no-sew pattern, so it should be pretty simple. So I'm going to get going on that, and I will show you when I'm done. I've made some good progress on the little deer. We have the head attached. It's looking really goofy so far. I love the way she did this color change here. Like, she does it like normal, but just the way it lines up, it is so crisp and perfectly even. Makes me very happy. So, and then you crochet the head into the body, and you do it a little bit different than we did on the giraffe snuggler, so it is a little bit more stable. You use 2 different rows, not just one. And then we have the tail out like the last one so that we can reinforce it at the end, but it's looking very cute. I think because this one is a stuffed animal instead of a snuggler, I might do plastic eyes on this one, give it a little extra personality. So I think we're on the row where we're going to do the little horns and crochet the ears in. So he's looking cute. He's got chubby little cheeks. But yeah, I love the spots. He's looking good. I'm excited to get him all done. Good morning. It is the next day again. I lost the light last night, so I didn't want to do an update, but I was able to finish the little fawn. So here she is. Ended up going with the sinker eyes. These are 18 millimeters. I just did the brown glitter, and then I added the little eyebrows, eyelashes, whatever those are. And then I also added a little bit of pink blush. It's a little hard to see in this light, but there she is, so cute. A little tail with the white underneath. And her legs are stuck like this, so she can only sit. I did do the face shaping like she recommended in the pattern since I did plastic eyes. So I did the shaping above each of the eyes and pulled it back to sink those in a little bit. Added the little embroidery here and the nose. And yeah, I think she turned out so cute. Love this little cutie. The face is definitely an interesting shape, but I do think it turns out really cute. It looks really funny before you add the nose, and then the nose really helps bring it together. But yeah, so after making this one and seeing how the plushy body is designed where you tack the legs in the position that you want, I decided to make the horse in the snuggler version. I know I keep flip-flopping, but I just really couldn't decide. So I did start the horse last night, and she is going to be an itty-bitty little lady. All three of these patterns that I'm making are the itty collection, so they're all similar size, but this one is going to be extra tiny. So this is what I have done on the Payla and the pony and the snuggler body. So I did the same thing where I'm using just my 6mm hook. I didn't hook size up, and I did regular decreases everywhere so I don't get the gaps in the half double crochets. So I did that in all of the feet decreases and the body decreases. But yeah, look how tiny. It's going to be very small. She is going to have like a tail and a mane and all that stuff. So there's a little bit of work left to do. So we have the head, the ears, and then the mane and tail and all the details and everything. So I'm going to get going on the head. I think I make the ears first because we crochet those in. This is also a no-sew pattern just like the rest of them, which is nice. So also, I forgot to mention, just like the giraffe, you leave a tail out for the head. You crochet the head into the body, but then you leave a tail out to kind of tack the head. So because of the way she's sitting, I did tack the head a little bit forward. So you can kind of see right here, I sewed it down, but that's really easy and quick. And then you also tack the ears, and I did that before I closed up the head, just like I did the giraffe. And yeah. So that's the plan for the horse. We'll do basically the same thing. I'm loving the way these little feet look and the colors I chose. So this one is steel cut oats for the main color, and then I'm using the Mama Made Minis pebble for the hooves, and then the mane I think I'm gonna do in the cream to make it kind of look like a palomino horse. So that's the plan, and because this one's a snuggler, I think I will do embroidered eyes on this one as well. So I'm going to get going, and I will check in a little bit. Okay, I just finished the little ears, so we have those ready to go, and then I wanted to mention there's a note in the pattern that's kind of funny. It says the head and face is very much a trust the process type situation, where she said even if it's looking really off-center, just keep going and it should all fix itself at the end. So I'm very interested to see how this goes. So yeah, I'm gonna get going on that and I will keep you posted. Here's what I have so far. Nothing is looking crooked or out of whack. It actually looks absolutely perfect. So looking good so far. We have crocheted the head into the body. So now we just go a little higher, add the ears, and then we'll probably do the eyes before we stuff it so I don't have to deal with the stuffing coming out as I embroider. And then we're getting close to being done. But it's looking fantastic, nice and straight. The little puff stitches look good. I can always adjust a little bit when I reinforce the head with the tail if it's a little crooked, but so far it looks fantastic. Okay, so I have the ears attached. I did have to move them one stitch over because they were going to be quite crooked with the rest of the head, but I think they ended up perfect. And then I did one row past attaching the ears so I can tack the ears back to that row. And then I'm going to embroider the eyes while we have the head unstuffed and open. So next I'm going to tack the ears, do the eyes, and then we will close her up and work on the mane and tail, and then I think she's done. I think there is some face shaping, there's some like nose shaping and eye shaping, so we'll see how that goes, but she's looking so cute. Okay, I have the ears tacked back and I did the embroidered eyes. I am absolutely loving this one, the way it works up. I think this one is going to be my favorite, but we'll see when she's all done. So she's looking fantastic. I do think I'm going to tack the head just a tiny bit. It's hard to tell on video, but it's a little tiny bit crooked, so I want it a little more that way, I think. So I'm just gonna whip stitch around like she recommends, and then we'll do some of the face shaping, and I think I'll do it like I did with the giraffe, where I go under here instead of over, so it doesn't pinch the eyes. And then there's also some nose shaping, I think, so that'll be down a little bit lower, but I'll do both of those and probably do the mane and tail, so I will check in when she is all done. Look how cute she is so far, and she's so little. Works up so quick. I haven't timed myself on any of these because it's the first time making them, and I've never worked with this designer before, so they're obviously taking longer than they would the second time, but this one is definitely a lot quicker than the other two so far. I think the mane and tail are going to take a minute just because it's a lot of chaining, but the deer definitely took a little while with all the details and everything. But yeah, so I'm going to get this guy done and I will check in a bit. I just did her face shaping and I just wanted to show you guys. So we sunk in her eyes a little bit, and then we made these little kind of divots behind her nose. So it gives her more of a horse face shape. So now we just need to add the tail and the mane, and she will be all finished. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. I might time myself just because this part usually takes forever. So I'm going to time myself and we'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. Okay guys, I finished the little horse and she is the cutest thing ever. The little tail, you tie it so it looks like a little bow. Too cute. And then the mane, she has a really cool way of like pinning down all of the pieces, and you make the little like bangs. So I timed it and it took me 25 minutes to do the mane and the tail, but obviously I had to watch a video to see how she was doing it and then all the chains. So you could definitely do it faster the second time you do it. But it did take me a bit to figure out. But look how cool that looks. And then the little bangs, so cute. And I just love the way this little one turned out. So I think she's my favorite, but let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite. I'll try to hold them all up here. So we have the giraffe, the horse, and the little fawn. So cute. So this is the stuffed body, obviously plushy body, and then the two snugglers, those hips on that giraffe. So cute, and they were all no-sew. I'm very impressed with how she does all the no-sew. They have so many cute details. I can't get over them. So yeah, definitely let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite, and let me know if you have done any of her other patterns. She has a ton. I decided not to do any of the accessories because I like the way they look kind of natural, if that makes sense. So I'm going to leave them all like this. No halter. This one has a halter mod. Not a mod, but like a halter you can add to it, or the little top knot for the giraffe or the horse. And then this one has like the diaper and the binky you can add, which is all really fun. But yeah, I think I told you everything about each pattern. I used the 6mm hook for everything after doing the giraffe with the 6.5 that I didn't like. Yeah, I just love these patterns. This was so much fun. Let me know if you like the style of the video, how I make things as I go, or if you'd rather just me make everything and then talk about it at the end. I wasn't sure if it's helpful for you guys to see as I go. I thought it was kind of interesting to see how some of them look really funny as we're making them. But let me know what style of video you like. And then back to my updates from the beginning. Don't forget about my PalmStreet tomorrow at 12 Mountain Standard Time if you want to come hang out with me there. And then my new Patreon tier with the fun challenges and crochet alongs. I'm really excited about that. And then I also just set up a sale on my Etsy for Mother's Day starting today, which is Wednesday, going through Monday for 10% off all of my patterns. So go check out that if you're interested in any of my patterns that you don't have yet. They are all on sale through Monday. And thank you so much for watching. Let's do a little horse emoji down in the comments for making it all the way to the end of the video. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!